It was year 2009 when Hot Toys introduced us to the version 1 of this game-changing 6-scale Batmobile. 15 years later, they reissued practically the same thing. I got mixed reactions on this one. Welcome everyone from What's on the Table. This is Prof G and you are watching another episode of Graded, the show wherein we're not just going to unbox review a particular statue, collectible, or figure. We are actually going to give it a grade at the end of each video. So for this episode, we got here the Tumbler Batmobile from the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy starring Christian Bale. And this particular Batmobile is produced by none other than Hot Toys. It's in 1/6 scale, and if I'm not mistaken, they are the only company who actually did a 6 scale version of this one. So full disclaimer, I know that the Nolan-verse Batman was released many years ago, and this is actually my second purchase of this tumbler as it was reissued just recently. So I sold the first one, which was heavily damaged from the small parts included in the set. And at first, I kind of hated the fact that it was so fragile, so I kind of just sold it for a very low price just to acquire this one. And the reason why we are grading this is two things. Will this Batmobile Tumbler design still be quote-unquote a great addition to your collection? As I know that there are new players in the game that produces Batman vehicles. And two, did they actually do a better job in the reissue and worth the purchase? Meaning, did they actually fix some of the major issues from before? And are there improvements and all that? So right off the bat, just looking at the box, Hot Toys is upping their game in the packaging department as I don't recall the previous packaging to be like this. This one looks much better. This is the first time I'm gonna be opening this, so just sit back, relax, and let's brutally grade this Batmobile. Alright, so this is the Tumbler Batmobile from the Batman Nolan verse, which first appeared year 2005. And I remember a lot of mixed reaction from the actual design of this vehicle. Some people liked it, and some people gave some mixed reaction saying, heck no, that ain't the Batmobile. And again, these reactions are probably coming from the people who got used to the look of the 1989 Batmobile from the Tim Burton films. But I get it. I get how Nolan wanted to portray the look as much more realistic in a way. And to me, at first, I was one of those people who had the same reaction in the design. But as I watched the film, I actually grew to love it and said, yeah, this actually makes sense. So I got this one from a trusted local store here in the Philippines called Philbar. So I just want to say a big thank you to those guys. But I do remember that this was way more expensive than the first version that I got. Maybe it's because they improved the quality, or maybe it's just, economics. Things are just more expensive nowadays. I think I got this for around 40,000 pesos, and I got my first one for around 19,000 or something. So there's a huge difference there. Now I'm trying to recall the first version, and I'm not sure if this is accurate, but I remember the first version to be lighter than this one. I think one of the main difference from the first version to the second one is, well, nothing much, which is kind of disappointing to be honest, because I do believe it's the same mold, yes. And looking at it from afar, I don't think you can tell much of a difference from version 1 to version 2. So I might as well call it version 1.5 or something. And I remember being annoyed because I broke a lot of parts of this Batmobile, like the windshield wipers, the antennas, even the flaps at the side, even the gold, like the rose gold bars that you can see here. And I also remember being annoyed at this light switch right here because they could have easily hidden this one, just like how they did it with the 1989 Batmobile. So for me, it kind of cheapened it a little bit. It's still considered as a toy, but I think those minor details can definitely elevate the design a little bit. But I do notice that the paint job is much better. I am not sure if I'm mistaken or this is accurate, but the paint job is much better, especially the rose gold parts of the vehicle, much more vibrant. I'm not sure, but the texture is kind of different also from some parts. But yeah, there are minor improvements, I must say. I can also say that some of the parts are sturdier and won't easily break. I mean, yes, pieces breaking from before was partly my fault. But the only good thing about this one is I got a newer version, a cleaner version, a version that is still complete and not damaged. But the downside is I had to pay double to acquire it. But then again, all I can say is yes, I am glad that I got it, as Hot Toys is the only one who produced this, and it will definitely be a head turner in any display shelf. So I know that there are other players out there that produces Batman vehicles like Jazz Inc. I'm closely looking into Jazz Inc. because they are very accurate when it comes to producing vehicles. And I don't think Jazz Inc. is going to produce this one as stated by the family. But if ever they will, I would sell this one in a heartbeat and funnel those funds to the one that they are going to make. Of course, it's going to be much more expensive, but I would probably pick the one Jazz Inc. is going to make, if ever they do choose to make them. But since this is the only option that we have now, with not much innovation to the design, no added lights, no added features, and I think Justin from Justin Collectibles said it as well, it would have been great if they added lights to the cockpit and the thrusters, maybe a little bit of smoke from the thrusters, because I know that it would have been an easy add-on, and if those two features were actually added on this one, I wouldn't feel too bad paying for practically the same thing with a 100% price increase. All right, so all in all, considering the price, the promise, and the output by Hot Toys, I would say I am okay with it. It's year 2024, and I can safely say that I am proud to own this vehicle right here. Not sure if it's 100% accurate from the movie because it's really hard to tell, but overall, if you're a Batman fan, especially the Nolanverse version, I would definitely get it. So all things considered, the good, the bad, and the not so great, with the price point of about $700, 40,000 pesos, I mean, I would still say that you get what you paid for in terms of quality. It's just a shame that they didn't do much of an upgrade, but I would still give this Hot Toys Batmobile Tumbler version 2 a grade of 7.1. It's actually pretty good, all things considered. If you don't mind paying more than how it was priced before, by all means, go get it. So there you have it, guys. This is the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Batmobile from the Christopher Nolan trilogy of Batman. If you also own this vehicle from Hot Toys and you think you would grade it differently, please write it down in the comment section below. Thanks everyone. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Prof G and you just watched another episode of Graded. See you all on the next one.